Brothers and sisters, on this first Sunday where we read the Gospel of Luke, we see the calling of the first apostles by Jesus. A group of fishermen who were probably known to Jesus beforehand in their family and social situations, had gone out fishing, had spent all night fishing, this was their job, and had caught nothing. They had failed. They were now back in the morning, cleaning their nets and getting ready, I suppose, to go fishing again that night, not knowing whether they would catch anything once again. And it is in this situation that Jesus comes and interrupts them. He interrupts their cleaning of their nets, their getting their businesses ready for the following night. They are tired, they are worn out, they are probably very upset and disappointed at what has happened. Things have not gone right for them. And now Jesus comes and he turns their whole world upside down. The first thing he does is he interrupts their day. And he tells them that I need to get into one of your boats. Can you please take me out? I want to get in front of the crowd there on the shore and speak to them. I wonder how we would feel, or how we do feel, when we are interrupted like that. We have a full schedule for our day. We've got a whole list of things we need to do, our to-do list. And then something happens. Quite often, Jesus interrupts us. And he calls us to do something else. Someone has a particular need. Someone is in trouble. Someone needs our assistance. There is some emergency. Someone has gotten ill. Something has happened at work and we need to fill in. Something has happened at home and we need to leave our work. And our day gets turned upside down. And quite often our initial reaction, depending on the state of our heart, could be anger, could be resentment, it could be annoyance. I think for very few people is it an open willingness to accept an opportunity or a situation that God has provided. We don't know what Simon was feeling, but he obeyed. He took his boat, left his job, left his nets, and took Jesus out as Jesus asked him. Jesus spoke, he preached, he taught, and then perhaps Simon thought, okay, it's all over now, I can go back to what I was doing. But Jesus says, Simon, now I want you to take me out into the deep, and I want you to let out your nets and go fishing. Simon, who was probably physically exhausted by this stage, says, but we've been out all night. We've caught nothing. But once again, he obeys. He takes his boat out. He says, Lord, for your sake, because you ask it of me, I will do it. He lets out the nets, and then in the middle of the day, which is not the right time to be fishing, he begins to catch so many fish that he calls in his partners and the other boat to assist him. They also let down their nets and they catch such a shoal of fish that both boats begin to sink. And it is at that moment that God touches Simon Peter's heart. And he realizes that everything that has happened up to this point was to get him to this point of understanding. and he turns to Jesus and he gets on his knees and says, "Forgive me, go away from me, I am a sinful man, Lord. I don't deserve any of this." Tired, exhausted, annoyed perhaps, even angry at Jesus, he sees this miracle which brings him to his knees, and at last God has broken through to his heart. At last his heart, which was cold, his heart which could not be touched by others, is now broken through his suffering, through his pain, through his tiredness, through his disappointment. And the miracle happens, and he sees things as they are. He sees Jesus as God and himself as someone far away from God. Jesus concludes the conversation now and shows him what the future will hold. "Do not be afraid, Simon. From now on, you won't be catching fish. You will be catching people." And the gospel reading concludes, "When they had brought their boats to the land, they left everything and followed him." So often, brothers and sisters, we are tired, we are disappointed, life has been hard, things are not working out, and maybe haven't worked out for a very long time. And yet, Jesus comes to us in so many ways and in so many forms. He interrupts us. He calls out to us. And even in the state that we are in, we have the opportunity, if not even with a good heart, at least with a willing heart, to obey. Because every time we obey his call, every time we respond to his need, which is usually given to us through the mouth of other people, then we open ourselves up to the miracle that may happen. And every time we refuse, and every time we close our heart, and every time we turn away, and every time we harden a little further, we close ourselves to the possibilities that may be in God. We come to points in our lives, brothers and sisters, where Jesus will call to us. Let us open our heart. Let us open our mind. Let us move even in our tiredness. Let us move even in our disappointment in God. Obey and allow his miracle, which worked in the lives of the apostles and so many saints throughout our history, to work also in our lives.